Humor me on this one. How about one more? Big round of applause. Thank you for being here, everybody. My name is Barry McKnight. I am the Director of Broadcasting at Troy University in my 20th year, and I am so excited about today, as I know you are as well. For all of you who are here today, on behalf of Troy University, on behalf of Troy Athletics, on behalf of Troy University football, I bid you all welcome. To a small group, a very small group of very select Troy University people, I also would like to issue a welcome back. We are pleased to be here. We are excited about the future, and me personally, among one of my great honors in being here and serving to introduce, is the honor, the true honor, to introduce our first speaker, the Chancellor of the Troy University System, Dr. Jack Hawkins.
And I know Barry means it when he says he's excited, because I heard him say that on radio earlier today on his radio program. It's really a pleasure for me on behalf of our Board of Trustees to welcome all of you to a very special occasion. I would be remiss if I didn't introduce those trustees to you, and if they'll stand, and then we'll recognize them as a group. This is a great group of trustees. I think the best board, not only in Alabama, but across this country, and they give so much to this institution. President Pro Tem Gibson Vance, General Ed Crowell, Senator Dial was here, but he had to leave, Miss Karen Carter, Mr. Charles Nayland, Mr. Forrest Latta. Thank each of you for being here. And I want to thank Brent. I'll do this again momentarily, but for a great job. And I would be remiss, too, if I didn't thank those members of the committee that worked with us so diligently. President Pro Tem Gibson Vance, General Ed Crowell, and Mayor Earl Johnson, the mayor of Andalusia, who called just before and had something to come up. He's here in spirit and representing those members of the Tea Club and all those who have worked so hard to earn the letters over the years, Mr. Freddie Thomas. I want to thank that group for working so hard. I know anyone who has been associated with Troy University knows the great tradition that we enjoy here. In fact, it was 112 years ago in 1909 that Virgil Parks McKinley put the first team on the field. And since that time, it was added to so many times in addition. In the 1960s, though, I think it was then that this program really took off in terms of the trajectory. And some of those players who played on that national championship team are here today, and we commend them under the great leadership of Billy Atkins. And then into the 1980s. We saw another record run under Chan Gailey and Rick Rhodes, and Freddie was really literally representing all those great champions. But then history does repeat itself. And it was on a fall morning, and some of you will remember that morning in 1990. It was an early December morning, and we met at the Whitley Hotel, which is on our Montgomery campus in downtown Montgomery. And I've often wondered over the years, why did we meet in Montgomery? And it finally occurred to me, we didn't have these facilities 31 years ago. And so we met there to introduce to the community a new leader for Trojan football, and that was Coach Larry Blakeney. And and all of you know what Coach Blakeney did for this university and for football generally in the state of Alabama. It was exciting. He was one of only two coaches to ever lead a Division II program all the way to FBS. 10 years after that press conference, we held another press conference, and it was to announce that we were moving the program to the highest level of intercollegiate athletics in terms of FBS. And it was not long after that announcement that we beat Mississippi State on their home field during their homecoming. They paid us too. We appreciated that. Over the years under Coach Blakeney, we won 5 consecutive titles in the Sun Belt Conference. We went to many bowl games. And then at the end of his tenure, we appointed Coach Neil Brown. And I think what he did is known to all of you. 31 wins in 3 years, including 2 big wins over LSU and Nebraska. Many of you were there. And not only were we there, but Coach Jon Sumrall was on the sideline during that win. And over these years, not only did we join the Sun Belt Conference, but we helped to rebuild the Sun Belt Conference. And we're so proud today that the Sun Belt Conference, I believe, is at the top of the group of 5. And if you don't believe that, look at the bowl record in the last 5 years when Sun Belt teams won 70%. That exceeds even the SEC in the number of victories during bowl games. We stand on a solid rock here. But that's the expectation we have in all of our sports, not just football. We have it in basketball. We expect to go to the Final 64. We expect to do well in volleyball and golf and all those sports, and we're going to Omaha given enough time. But I would say to you, too, we will go to the college football playoff. And if you don't believe that, let me remind you, and some of you were there then, it was 22 years ago in 1999 on September the 11th when we beat Cincinnati 31-24. And think about who the Cincinnati plays in short order. The University of Alabama as an entree into the CFP. If Cincinnati can do it, if Coastal Carolina can do it, if Louisiana can do it, Troy University can do it, and we will do it. One comment before I close, and that is I think the greatest tribute, and this goes to all the coaches and assistant coaches and the staff here. I can't think of a better tribute or a more meaningful tribute than for a coach to be known as a player's coach. That's why we do what we do. What we do is serve students. What players expect is for their coaches to be players' coaches. That was Coach Larry Blakeney. That was Coach Neil Brown. That is what I've already heard of the players who played for Jon Sumrall. That's how they regard him, a player's coach, and that's what will carry us to the CFP. And I would quote one thing as we closed that process last week. We talked with Coach Mark Stoops, the head football coach at the University of Kentucky. And this is what Coach Stoops said. I think this was really significant. He said, Jon Sumrall is a fantastic husband. He is a fantastic father. He is energetic. He is more than ready for an opportunity like this. And Jon knows Troy and knows an opportunity to win is big at Troy University. Brent, I told Tracy Brent is now coming home. He's been here for the last 3 or 4 weeks working as hard as anybody I've ever seen on filling this vacancy. He did his homework, as he typically will do. I have nothing but praise for Brent and the way he managed this whole process. I praise the committee that worked with him. But before I ask Brent to come up and explain that process, let me close by saying to John, to Jenny, and to those 4 beautiful children, welcome home.
Let's see how this is going to work. As y'all can tell, I'm not the same size as these 2 gentlemen here, okay? Baseball was my sport. All right. I will tell you this, what an amazing crowd, What amazing attendance today. It has been a long process and a very quick, deliberate one, and I have a few remarks. I'm not going to stand in the way of Coach Sumrall, but I do need to thank Chancellor Hawkins for your leadership, for what you provide for me. It's been simply outstanding. Your support, you can look at the north end zone, you can look at the facilities here. If I did not have these in our arsenal, it would be very, very tough to recruit. But anybody who's been on campus here knows the power of our facilities, knows the power of our brand, and so I appreciate that. Your vision support, in my opinion, the best chancellor in Division I. But I will tell you this, I also need to thank Ms. Janice Hawkins as well for your support, for loaning him out during this process. So thank you so much as well, okay? It's a great day to be a Trojan, and boy is it, okay? I will tell you this, I'm going to take you through the process briefly about this. Thank you to the committee. Y'all really helped. You really, really did, and I wish Freddie was here, but to be able to gain the insight from him as a former player, so tied into what we have going on, was simply outstanding. This was a highly coveted job, highly coveted, and so we started with 50 targets. We narrowed it down to 25, and then I had 15 interviews. We did not make it easy on Jon whatsoever. And so you want to talk about countless, countless hours of being able to rise to the top. This was the most deliberate, thorough, as well as diverse candidate pool that we've ever had. The last 11 days were simply grueling for myself as well as for the candidates, okay? And I will tell you this, time and time again, Coach Sumrall's name just kept rising to the top, just like competition does. How we got here was this, is our vision for Troy University football has not changed. We want to compete for conference championships, be bowl eligible, win bowl games, and compete for the college football playoff. We want to be one of the top 5 in the group of 5. That expectation has not changed, and it will not waver. And that is what I let all of the candidates know. There's one person that I felt that could match the energy, the enthusiasm, and the passion that we all have for Troy University football, and that's Jon Sumrall, okay? Now, I will tell you this. As we went through this entire process, the thing that kept coming back to it was our facilities and our fans. And at this point, I need to thank our fans, because as I spoke with all the different candidates, from 15 to 10 to 8 to the finalist, our fans and our facilities, as well as our tradition, made a difference. You look at our bowls, you look at the conference championships that Chancellor Hawkins talked about. This is the cream of the crop, and that's the expectation here. But I want to read a few things. 3 of the last 5 years, Troy football has led the conference in attendance. That doesn't happen by accident. That's because of our great fans and also because of our great staff. I would be remiss to say thank you to our amazing staff, department heads, as well as executive staff, because I have been out for the last 11 days, and they have really been able to run this department, okay? But this past year, we finished 2nd in attendance in the Sun Belt Conference. That's simply outstanding. We have the best student crowd, the best student attendance in the Sun Belt. That doesn't happen by accident. And as we rebuild and as we reload, I know that we have the leader that can continue to do this. On Thursday night, when Jon was offered the job after the selection committee came together, it was one of the quickest negotiations, and I appreciate that, by the way. It was one of the quickest negotiations that we've ever had, okay? And as part of that, you could see, no one knew financials, no one knew anything else. It was Jon and I being able to talk about the future of Troy and what he wanted and what he needed to be successful. And so that tells you the type of coach and the type of man that he is. So when we made the announcement on Thursday, I think everybody got to see the video of me offering Coach Sumrall the job. You got to see the passion, the energy, the enthusiasm. He broke down on it. It was pretty tough for me not to break down as well during that. Friday, we announced our Football Excellence Fund. I would like to say we're almost halfway through our stated goal by December 31st. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for stepping up. Over the last 2 years, our donors have stepped up to the highest levels that we've had, over 100% increase since 2019. But I'm going to tell you, we're going to need each and every person to continue to help us get back to the level of competition that we have. Enough about the process, more about the man. Your next head coach showed his leadership, his personality, his enthusiasm, and a comprehensive plan and knowledge of Troy University and how to get us back to the heights that we want to be. His message was clear, and I think everybody was ready to run through a wall on Thursday. I also appreciate the process. No leaks, no timelines, no one knew anything. And because of that, we were able to get the best process and the best candidate. On Friday, I had the privilege of introducing Jon Sumrall to our team. And if you haven't seen that video, I encourage you to do so. Because again, for the second time in 2 days, I was ready to run through a wall. The standard of excellence will be set. We will have a new culture, and that culture is going to be about doing things the right way. And so again, it's my honor and privilege, I should say, to recognize your new head football coach, Jon Sumrall. We're going to take a picture real quick right here.
I'm honored and I'm grateful to be your head football coach at Troy University. I'd like to say thank you to Dr. Hawkins, Ms. Janice. Dr. Hawkins' leadership at a college campus and a university, you're the definition of it. It doesn't take you very long to figure out that everything that happens at Troy University is first class and it's done with excellence. All you have to do is walk through campus and figure that out. This place is special, and Dr. Hawkins, your consistent leadership here is what makes this opportunity even more a positive situation for a head football coach. So I thank you for that, and I thank you for your involvement, and Janice, your involvement in the search. I'd like to thank Brent Jones. Brent was, like he said, he was thorough, he was detailed, he was deliberate, methodical, and maybe a little bit long at times. So that was my first gripe as the head coach here, that he's got to learn when it's this easy, make the decision faster. Okay? But having said all that, I felt like deep down it made me better for going through this process the way it did. I want you to understand this. I wanted this job. I didn't have any plans. I wanted this job. This was it. And so that process was great, and I appreciate the thoroughness there. I'd like to thank the Board of Trustees and the distinguished members on that board. Your support and your service to this university are so selfless and behind the scenes, and I'm grateful for your involvement in everything that happens on this campus. It means the world to me to stand here before you today. Alumni, all right, Troy Trojan fans, student body, Troy community at large, the Wiregrass region, get ready, because we're about to engage with you on a level that you haven't experienced probably in a while. I'd be remiss without recognizing the members of the Sound of the South here today. We got the greatest marching band. Man, if that doesn't fire you up to go to a football game, I don't know what does. I also need to recognize, because my three daughters, this is probably the most important part of the press conference for them, the cheerleaders that were in attendance. Those three little girls sitting in the front row would probably see those cheerleaders get back up on stage and me get off. One other person I'd like to recognize, probably doesn't get enough recognition a lot of times in Troy football, but Miss Judy Morgan. She's a staple of this program. I heard someone reference she might try to retire. That ain't happening. All right. One other thing I want to make sure that's very clear, we're here to support other people on this campus, not just ourselves. So Shanda Rigby, back here in the back, I see you. I've learned more from Shanda about how to develop a winning culture than maybe any coach I've ever watched. Okay, her juice might be the only one in this building that might rival mine. All right, so what she's about, we're going to be at your basketball games cheering. Scott Cross, we're going to be there cheering for you. And we cannot wait to go arm in arm with you. Skylar Mead, I don't know where Skylar is. I saw him earlier, but in the back right there, I see you, brother. We're going to support you, man. Like, we're going to be out in left field grilling burgers and hot dogs. All right? And want to see y'all be successful. You know, a rising tide raises all ships, right? And this ain't just about me, it's about all of us. It's about the entire university. But can't wait to engage with y'all and support you in every way possible. I need y'all to support us too. Let me move on to maybe the most important part of any of this is thanking my family. My wife, Jenny, man, the sacrifice that it takes to be a coach's wife in college athletics, and particularly football, because, man, it's a 24-hour job, 7 days a week, 365. I don't get to call in and go, hey, I'm sick, or my child's sick, man. I tell people all the time, every day I wake up and I put my feet on the floor, I go to football, and she goes to work. You know what I mean? And because we got 4 young kids at home, and my wife has made sacrifice after sacrifice after sacrifice. I could not envision having a greater life partner than my wife, Jenny. So give her a round of applause, please. Y'all keep going. Keep going there. I need all the brownie points I can get. My 4 kids, I'm a man of faith. I'm a man about family. My 4 kids, I'm a devoted husband, and I'm also a very loving father. My 8-year-old son, Sam, all right, his twin sister, Sadie, our 5-year-old daughter, Stella, and our 3-year-old daughter, Selah, all right? You spell Selah, that's a different name now. It's in the Bible. It's S-E-L-A-H, and the interpretation means to pause and reflect or to stop, but we've stopped. But our 4 children, I remind them constantly, Sam will ask me on a Sunday morning after church, Daddy, why you got to go to work? I'm absent at times, and that's the toughest part of our job. But I'm a loving father, and everything I do is because I want y'all to see what work ethic and being about your work looks like every day. All right? Moving on, my mom and my dad are here, live in Huntsville, Alabama, have been there for me every step of the way. They ain't missed many games I've been a part of throughout my entire career, whether it be coaching, playing, whatever. They've been there the entire way, my whole life, and grateful for your support and everything. My mother-in-law and father-in-law, Steve Nixon, Lynn Nixon, also live in Huntsville, live 4 blocks away from my parents. So me and my wife lived in California when we started dating, but we grew up half a mile apart. So if you don't believe in God, that's it right there, man. But I want to thank them for being able to be here today, and grateful that they're here. Really grateful that they're here. Moving on, my brother lives in Atlanta, not here. Would give his left arm to probably be here today if he could. He's working. He's got a job to do, and I'm glad he's doing it. But he has been my biggest fan my whole life. He's 7.5 years older than me. In his eyes, I do no wrong. And we could lose a game, and he'd say, man, that wasn't that bad. And I'm like, doesn't feel like it wasn't that bad. It feels pretty bad. Y'all were close. We lost by 2 touchdowns. That wasn't very close. So he's been there every step of the way for me. He is contrasted to my son Sam and my dad. They have zero issue telling me everything we did wrong in the game. Sam, 8 years old, and is, I think, already on his path to being a coach or a general manager of a pro football team one day. He has zero issue telling me, Dad, y'all didn't tackle very good tonight, or how come that guy dropped the ball so many times? And my dad as well. My dad, he knows enough football to be dangerous, but not enough to help. So, moving on, I'd like to thank those that have come before me in this program, players, coaches, everyone. Everyone that served Troy football, the people that have been here before me is what makes this position so attractive. Troy football, it's a winning culture. The expectations are real, and I embrace that. All right, I didn't want to go to a program that accepted being average or mediocre. I wanted to go somewhere, if I was ever a head coach, that you were expected to win. Okay, and I fully embrace that. I thank the former players. We need your help. I want you around. Come to practice. Come to my office. Come see me. I don't come right now because I'm pretty busy. But when things start to slow down, I want your help. I want your engagement with our program and our players. No better people for our current players to get to see how they do life than our former players. And then former coaches here. I'd like to thank the previous staff for their service here. Without question, I'd like to thank Neil Brown. I would never have come here if it wasn't for Neil. I was coaching at another school, and Neil got the head job here. And before he even got the head job, he was trying to go through the interview process. And he said, "Hey, John, will you come with me to Troy if I get this job?" And I'll get there as fast as you need me. All right? And Neil and I are dear friends. I've known Neil since I got recruited to the University of Kentucky. And without the opportunity to be on his staff, I probably wouldn't be standing here today. And so I don't take his opportunities he's given me lightly. He's been a great mentor to me, a great friend to me. Sometimes friends don't always hug, we fight. But Neil has set the example for me of how to be a head football coach. And you better believe the 3 years I was with him here, I studied every move he made. So there might be some similarities. There might be some differences too. We'd also like to thank Brooke Brown. You know, I think sometimes you get lost and it's the coach, it's the coach, it's the coach. I think Brooke set a tremendous example for Jenny during our time here of what it looks like to be a head coach's wife, because that's such a critical role in mentoring staff, mentoring players, being engaged in the community. And you better believe she'll be engaged in the community. She's a whole lot more personable than me. I'm probably going to shock you. I'm a little bit introverted. I like to go work. She likes to socialize. And she's pretty good at it too. But really thankful for Neil and Brooke's example of how to do things the right way. I can't stress that enough. Would also like to mention, I don't think you can go without mentioning Larry Blakeney. Last time I checked, his name's out on that field, and there's a reason for it. They don't do stuff like that by accident. Coach Blakeney, I'll never forget the first opportunity I met him in the old field house here, and I'd just been here like a week. And he came in, and he was with someone else. I didn't know the person he was with. It was probably somebody really important on the Board of Trustees, and at that time I didn't know who it was. But Coach Blakeney introduced me to who was with him that day, and he said, "Hey, this is Jon Sumrall. He's one of us." And he didn't have to do that. You know, I was a new guy. I wasn't a part of any of his staffs. But yet Coach Blakeney has always been a great supporter, a great friend, and a great mentor as well. So Coach Blakeney, I don't take lightly the fact that I get to hold a role that he once held. One other person that I cannot go without mentioning that was a part of this program at one time and is a dear friend of mine, and he served here as an assistant. My first experience in person with Troy football was in 2010. And we were driving through here, my wife and I, to go to a wedding of a really good friend of mine. And we stopped here at Troy to see another really good friend of mine who was coaching here at the time, because I just wanted to check in on him. And his name's Jon Sumrall. And John could be standing here today too. And there's not a minute that I coach or that I live from this point on, after seeing what John went through and how he handled it, that I don't want to make him proud. And my good friend Jon Sumrall, his wife Leanne, what an amazing woman. John used to say, as he was fighting what he fought, he used to say, I'd say, "John, how you doing, buddy?" And he'd say, "Summy, you got a pulse, you got a chance." And I think, golly. And he'd be at practice and fighting through everything he was going through, and he didn't skip a beat. All right, so grateful for Jon Sumrall and his family, and I can assure you his legacy is going to live on here at Troy University. Why Troy? Okay, why Troy? I was at a place where I was very happy. You may not know this, probably the University of Kentucky is my alma mater. I played there. A lot of people don't believe this when they look at me, but in 2004, I led the team in tackles there. I used to tell the kids I coached there the last 3 years, a lot of them looked like trips, not tackles. I wasn't that athletic. But I was in a place we loved. All right, I was in a place that's at unprecedented heights right now from a football perspective. We just finished 9-3, 5-3 in the SEC, second in the SEC East, sole possession of second place behind Georgia, which I'm not okay being second, but I also want to make sure we're pushing the envelope to get better and be the top we can be. And so at a place I was very happy. Coaching a team, I loved coaching. Coaching players, I loved dearly. Working for a man in Mark Stoops that, if you don't know anything about the Stoops family, man, they are college football. I mean, it's intense, it's passionate, it's real, it's detailed, it's coaching, it's player development, and I am so grateful for the last 3 years to watch Mark do it at the highest level of college football and do it in a way that's never been done at a place that is not used to doing it that way. And so his example is so special in my life. And our last ball game a couple weeks ago, Coach and I knew that this job was going to hopefully be available for me to have a chance to come do, and I'll never forget hugging him on the sideline as time ran out after Skyler, after we were kicking Louisville's butt. All right, and hugging him and telling him, and he came over and said, "I love you. I don't want you to go, but you got to go get this job." And grateful for him. Grateful for Mitch Barnhart, the athletics director of the University of Kentucky. Mitch became the AD at Kentucky in 2002. I was a sophomore in college. He's the longest tenured AD at a Power 5 school, I believe, that whole run. And you want to talk about leadership, like when I think of Dr. Hawkins' leadership here, I think of Mitch Barnhart's leadership in athletics is similar on that scale. He is really, really good at what he does, and he does it does it for the right reasons, and he does it the right way. This place is special to me and my family. That's why we're here, though. You ask why, Troy? This place is special to us. The people here have made this place special to us the last time we were here, and I firmly believe the people are going to make this place special again for our family, for our football team, for every part of what we're doing. Troy football has had success at every level. NAIA national champions. Move up to FCS, or move up to Division II, I'm sorry. Two-time national champions in the 80s. Move up to FCS 1AA, and competitive as heck and in the playoffs year after year after year. And then you get to the FBS, and all we do is knock off Mississippi State at Mississippi State, like Dr. Hawkins referenced. And we've been the giant killers for a long time, and that's the plan we're going to continue to be. But this place, success is expected, and that's what excites me. The opportunity to develop young men on and off the field, impact their lives, and develop them in every part of their life is why I coach, and that's why we're here, and we're excited about having the opportunity to do it with an entire roster, not just a side of the ball or a position group. A couple things our program is going to be about. First and foremost, it'll be a players first program. Last time I checked, if there weren't players, there wouldn't be a head coach. Last time I checked, if there wasn't players, there wouldn't be an athletics director, right? Last time I checked, there wouldn't be athletic trainers, strength coaches, academic counselors, any of that for student athletes if there wasn't student athletes. So everything we're going to do, every decision I make is going to be about the student athletes first and foremost. And Dr. Hawkins said, well, players coach, and I appreciate that comment and love that comment. Don't get the misconception that being a players coach means purple skies and butterflies. Sometimes it means a hug. Sometimes it means a kick in the butt. Sometimes it means a pat on the back. Sometimes it means criticism, encouragement. Being a player's coach is about caring about the player more than yourself. That's what a player's coach does. All right? And that's what I hope to embody in every decision I make. The next piece I want to talk about, you can't have a good football team if you don't recruit the right players and develop them properly. We'll talk about all the time in our program selection. So we're recruiting, but we're also selecting who we want to recruit. So don't get caught up in recruiting sometimes is enticing a kid to come here, encouraging a kid to come here, but we also want to select the right people that fit this place and fit this program. It all starts at home. We're going to know the entire state of Alabama. There's not many coaches in the state I haven't met, and the few I haven't, I'll be meeting them in short order. My entire career, I've recruited the whole state from Huntsville to Mobile. The entire state, top to bottom. At the University of Kentucky, I've recruited the entire state the last 3 years. So this state will be what we build our roster around first. We'll also emphasize the entire southeast region. The states of Georgia, Florida, Mississippi, Louisiana, Tennessee will be what we primarily focus our roster building on. I've recruited all of those states. So the last 3 years, I've been the lead recruiter for Kentucky and the whole state of Alabama. Everything in it, Georgia, not named Atlanta. All right, Mississippi, Louisiana. So I know the areas we need to recruit, and I know them well. I know the people of those areas. I know the players. And we've had success recruiting those areas. We've gone into those areas since I've been at Kentucky and signed players that SEC teams wanted, and we got them. Everything we're going to do is going to be with great attention to detail and detailed execution. I will not ask our players to do anything that has not been thought through. I will not ask your help without thinking through how can we best utilize what you're able to do to provide opportunities for our student athletes. So we're going to put thought into everything we do. Details matter. I'm a firm believer in how you do anything is how you do everything. Okay? I also believe better people make better players. All right? And so we're gonna be about the details in everything we do. And our core values of our program, the tenets that we're going to live on daily, we're going to talk about attitude, all right, all the time. You got to have a positive attitude, an encouraging attitude, an attitude of wanting to compete every day. We're going to be tough, mentally and physically. We're going to go out and play the games out here in Veterans Memorial Stadium, and I'm going to challenge our team every Saturday. We're going to be the toughest team. Nobody's going to walk into our house and out-tough us, all right? We're going to be disciplined. All right? You're either going to have the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. One of the two, and we're going to have the pain of discipline because there won't be anything that our players are allowed to do without us talking about how we want it done. And are they going to make mistakes? Yeah, they're going to make mistakes. They're not perfect. They're 18 to 23-year-old young men. But they're going to understand the expectation and what our rules are. And we're going to compete every day. There will not be a day that we're not competing in something. As a roster, our guys are going to compete in the weight room, in the off-season program, in academics. I mean, people are going to get to eat steaks if they got the higher grades, and they're going to eat hot dogs if they don't. All right? Not all the time, but some of the time. The guys that win games are going to eat steaks too. But we're going to compete every day in everything we do. I'll wrap up with some football stuff. How are we going to play the game? Troy's not going to beat Troy. This game's already hard enough to beat the other team. We're not going to beat ourselves. We're going to play with an edge. All right? We're going to live in that gray area of like, man, those guys are on edge. They're playing hard. Not going to get stupid penalties, but we're going to play hard. I'm a believer in fundamentals. Scheme matters, but fundamentals, I don't care what scheme you got. If you are great at fundamentals, you can implement any scheme and it'll work. All right? Blocking, tackling, catching, running a route with detail. Everything that you do fundamentally can make a scheme work. We're going to play with physicality, and we're going to have a mindset that we'll play anyone, anywhere, anytime. If we got to play them, we won't play them in that stadium. We'll play them in a parking lot. Schematically on defense, which is obviously my expertise, that and special teams, we're going to be sound schematically, and we're going to play fast. We're going to play with effort and energy that after we play our opponents, I want them to feel like, man, what did we just run into? That was a buzzsaw. All right, those guys are playing with their hair on fire. Offensively, we're going to be physical. I want to be able to run the football, create explosive plays by taking shots down the field off our run game, play with tempo, utilize shifts, formations, unbalanced sets that make people have to adjust to us, and we're dictating to them what we want to do on our terms, not theirs. Special teams, we're going to play special. We've got to win the hidden yardage, okay? Our players are going to understand the kicking game matters. Large chunk of yardage happen on special teams. So every special teams play is either a direct scoring opportunity, it's a field goal, or a field goal block. Or that ball's being kicked 40, 50, 60 yards. Well, if I asked you, the average fan, hey, there's going to be a play in the game today, it's 40 or 50 yards, is that pretty important? The fan's going to say, well, heck yeah. Well, if I asked a fan, hey, is a punt real important today? It's all right. Well, it's pretty important. It covers 50 or 60 yards. It's pretty important. So we're going to be detailed in how we do special teams. Brent kind of stole my thunder a little bit. I think he stole it from my interview on a vision of Troy football, because he stole my vision. It might be his vision too, but I don't know if it was 2 weeks ago. No, it's right. It's a partnership. And so he's already stealing my ideas in our partnership, but I'll give them to him. But no, listen. And Brent is going to be a great partner in this process. I cannot wait to work with him every day. He's already been amazing in trying to figure out creative ways we can make our program better, and I don't take that lightly, and I appreciate every bit of it. But our vision, we're going to compete for conference championships, and we're going to win them. Now, I'm not going to sit here and guarantee we're going to win them every year, but we're going to compete for them. That's our standard. We want to be in the conference championship game. We want to play in, and we want to win bowl games. We want to be ranked in the top 25. I want to sell out Veterans Memorial Stadium every time we play here. That takes y'all. That takes your friends. That takes everybody being bought in. And I want to develop total Trojans, men of Troy that we can all be proud of, men of character, men that live lives that matter, that change other people's lives. So we want to change lives to change lives. That's our goal. That's our vision. What's that going to take? It's going to take our absolute best every minute of the day. It's going to take my best. It's going to take the staff that I'm going to hire. It's going to take their best. It's going to take our student athletes understanding that everything they do matters. It's going to take our fans to show up early, be loud in this stadium, stay late after. Let's have a good time, kicking other people's butts. All right? My mom's looking up at me like, you say that word too much. There's another word I could say that'd be a lot worse. Any person that's affiliated with Troy University, we need you right now. All right? So I'm going to ask you, I've met with a lot of people already. They're like, let me know what you can do. All right? Or let me know what we can do for you. All right? Do you mean that? Because if you're asking what can we do for you, I'm about to make a phone call and ask you what we need. Because it takes all of us. I got news for you. The head coach ain't the only part of this program being successful. All right? Oftentimes, the head coach gets too much credit when things are going good and probably a little too much blame when things are going bad. And I'm a grown man, I can take it all. But I want you to understand, we have to do this together. I need your help. Now is the time for all of Troy Trojans to come together and take our football program to new heights. I can't wait to do it with you.